Right. That should get it. Yes. Fantastic. Let me verify. Right. Awesome. Audio seems good. So we should be good. This is going to be super short. Looks like nobody's here yet. But I'll give it like a minute or two. So if anybody is going to jump in, that I'm not just talking to nobody. Oh, hello. That was quick. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be super short. There's two mechanics that I want to add. I literally just started. So but this is sort of where we're at. I switched it back to individual blocks kind of blowing up like that because it just seemed better. But I want to add two things. First, if you add like two bombs like this, I want the first one to actually shoot the second one and then have it explode when it hits something. And so I think that can be really easy. We're going to do that one first because that one's easier, frankly. The next one is actually going to be like a teleport, which is actually going to allow you to be a lot more agile in the world. So that's sort of the plan for this. We're going to get that done, and then tomorrow we'll get the world done, the UI, and then the multiplayer. The multiplayer should be super simple. It should just be a second player, I think. Pretty sure. So, we need explosions. Oh, that's why I can't see it. Okay, there you go. For this, I think we just need a rigid body. And then I think just a bomb. Yeah, just a bomb layer. And that is only going to hit our level? Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I wanted to do. Cool. So the bomb is only going to hit the level, so the player will pass right through it. So the player can't collide with a bomb that is not on the ground. Let's see here. Rigid body, and I also want it to have a circle collider. We want this to be smaller than that. And so the idea here is like you can shoot these off, and so it kind of gives you a ranged attack if you're skilled. And the playing with this, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a lot of combos that are enabled by these two things that we're adding, which is one of the reasons why I want to kind of get that added in, because I feel like they're not super powerful by themselves. They just kind of complicate things and are things that you probably would never really notice. But yeah, cool. So it does hit the ground. You can see it's kind of sitting down there. So what I want to do is add a public void on collision enter 2D. When it enters a collision, we are going to have it explode. And it's occurring to me that I totally did the physics wrong. Yeah, why did the bomb hit the level? That was totally the wrong way to do that. Bombs should only collide with the level. Like that, right? So why did it work? Oh, because I didn't assign it. Got it. Okay. Cool. Everything is making sense. I have not screwed up. I did, but we're not going to count that. So, this should now fall and should explode when it hits and should send my player flying. Yes, awesome. So, that does have the minor thing of making gravity affect the bombs. That's just because I kind of wanted to see if that would actually make any sense. Still not entirely sure if it does. I don't know if adding that is a good idea. It feels like it would just make it way harder to predict. So I think we're gonna turn gravity off on the bombs, so bombs won't be affected by gravity. I think that just makes more sense to me. But now, let's see. Rigid body 2D. We're gonna grab all of the rigid body 2Ds in the level. That's the destroyed blocks. Yeah, this is getting a little bit more than I wanted. Okay, there we go. So here, I think just grab bombs. Everything else ought to be the same. Bombs in proximity? If this wasn't a jam, we would definitely want to consolidate this, but it is, so that's just going to stay there for now. And then for each bomb in our bombs, we want to do this and effectively turn them into giant guns. So we're now launching bombs at very high velocity, hopefully, across the map. And hopefully they don't like clip through things. They might do that. We'll see. But I should be able to do something like that. And then, welp. I broke it. Totally broke it. Animator has been destroyed, but you were still trying to access it. Oh. We haven't accounted for this. It's possible now for things to explode without us knowing about them. Which means that we can actually, I hadn't anticipated this, but we can actually blow things up outside of here, which means our queue will have something in it that is dead. How do we deal with that? If temp bomb is equal to null, then bomb, let's see, temp bomb dot, or let's do bombs dot DQ, and then return, I think. Yeah, I think that's the best we can do, is if the bomb no longer exists, we just have to pull that entry off. This probably won't work though, because I think what I've done is created a memory leak, which we're going to have to fix. And I don't know how exactly, but we're going to find out. Oops. That's interesting. Why can I jump so high? Okay. Let's test that. Cool, we're able to shoot things. Interestingly, they bounce, so explosions are now bouncing. So you're thinking more Bomberman style, where you can like chain bombs? Why? Interesting. I am able to... I don't know. So I agree, we definitely should turn that into like a while loop. But I'm really confused why... Why did this shooting bombs thing affect the height of my jump? And so one of the cool... Whoa. Oh. I know what's happening. Our sphere cast. So one of the cool things with this strategy of actually being able to control when to fire things is I can do something like this, and I can actually detonate it prior to it impacting. So if I shoot it down a corridor or something, which granted this is a small map, but it's possible to do. This might be hard. That may not work. It will. That's not gonna work. We can try it. But you can do things like that, where things like bounce and do all sorts of fun stuff. And I don't know. I don't know entirely how that's all gonna work, but that's cool. And we can do all sorts of fun stuff like that. I don't really know. I'm just trying to come up with ways where you can, if you're skilled enough and if you have the experience, you can kind of hone that and tweak it to do what you want. So it's sort of like a skill thing where you don't really need to use it, and you can totally play the game without using it ever. But if you happen to collect multiple bombs that you can use at once, you can turn them into something more useful than just a super jump, which is kind of lame. So that's the first one. It works. This we might want it to change. Let's see, peak. I think we can make this better. So let's do what's in there? A explosion controller. A selected bomb. Yeah. And then while selected bomb is not null. Oh, that's not right. Dot peak. That won't work. We're gonna undo that for now. I made this wrong. What? Okay, there we go. Getting back to where we want. There. Better. Okay. We're gonna leave that for now. The next thing I want is sort of a dash, which effectively this is just going to be, it's going to move you in any direction. So you can go, you can dash up, left, right, and down. No diagonal, I don't think. It'll just take whichever axis is the greatest. And so the idea here is effectively, even if you're like falling, if you do the combo fast enough, you can actually drop a bomb, teleport above it, and then detonate it. So like if you're falling and you would fall off the map, assuming you still have your dash up and a bomb to use, you can actually save yourself. Or if you want to like use it to bounce off of walls, that's an option too, because it will reset every collision. So that's sort of the option there. So it sort of gives you a wall jump / midair direction switch, which you wouldn't normally have. So we're gonna dash available equals true, I guess. And so this gets reset every time you collide with anything. which means if you hit walls or whatever, public void on collision enter 2D. We want this to be dash available equals true. Cool. For this, we are actually going to need another input. So our fifth input, which is going to be dash, I guess. So get button down. I'm thinking Xbox controller, probably X as the other one. So it's all on the front face, and you can kind of do some weird thumb mechanics, and it should work. You should exclude bombs and other players from that list. Yes. So I don't know about other players being able to dash after you hit a player, but players don't collide with bombs, so it won't reset based on that. Or it shouldn't. If it is, then our collision masks are screwed up. But since that's just doing an on-collision, it should only be the things that the layer will collide with. And bombs only collide with the level, so I don't think we have to worry about that. Let's see. Call this a dash. Easy name. Let's add it to rewired. See if it can't load. There we go. New dash joystick new center 1, I think is what we'll figure it out. If it's right, we'll know, and if it's not, then we'll know, I guess. I mean, if two people want to collaborate and do something weird, that's totally cool with me. I'm cool with people trying to break my game. I'm not gonna go out of my way to make it so people can't screw around. I don't know. I find that, like, if I find a way to break a game, I want to exploit that. And it's a 2-player competitive game. So if they're collaborating, they're not really playing. They're just there to have fun, and so they can do whatever they want. I don't have any idea how to set that dash. Actually, it may be X. That may actually work, because we had another thing where get button down doesn't actually show up. So it's only on for a single frame, which we're at too high of FPS for the UI to update. So we don't actually see that get reflected there. But now if I hold X, well, that's the select. So that's wrong. Let's see. Let's go back to, oops. So not center. I think that means action top row 1. That's a very long name for that, but it works. There is no way for me to tell there if it's working. Awesome. So dash goes on X, which hopefully means we can now implement it and everything should eventually work. I hope. So, how is this going to work? Rigid body, add force, calculated velocity, do all of this stuff. Yeah, this is gonna get complicated. I want to see, so I want to make the combo as easy to pull off as possible, And because of that, I want to be able to drop a bomb. So I want you to be able to actually drop it, explode it, and dash all in the same frame, and for it to work. So you could theoretically, if you did the right controls, you could theoretically do all 3 actions in a single frame. I'm not sure if that's actually a good idea, but I kind of want to just do it just so that people can do that. Which means you have to drop the bomb first, then teleport, and then explode them. Which means our teleport has to happen here. Which we're going to say if our input.dash and dash available, then dash available equals false, and we will dash. I think that makes sense. Let's actually say dash available equals not dash, and we'll have dash return if they dashed or not. And the reason I'm going to do that is if you do not have a direction input, so if you're not holding a direction, your dash does nothing and it won't use it, but it also will not just fire. So just pressing X when you're just standing there doesn't use it, because that would just be lame. So how do we do this? I think if of our horizontal speed, that's not what I want. Our input dot x is greater than 0.1f, or our input dot y is greater than 0.1, which just is effectively saying if there's a significant input. I don't know if 0.1 is the best number to use there, but we're going to use it because I don't like using 1 because of floating point zero things, and it just I don't like doing that equality for 0. So if there's an input, then we're going to dash, which means this returns true. Otherwise, we return false. Now we need to figure out the direction and then do the dash. So if the input.x is greater than the input.y, then we want to do a horizontal dash. Otherwise, we're going to do a vertical dash. Vertical dash. Cool. Then if the input.x is greater than 0, it's going to be to the right. Otherwise, it's to the left. And so I guess dash vector 2 dot left. Sure, this makes sense to me. Dash vector 2 dot right. I should leave one or in condition because current one makes little sense. Not sure what you're referring to actually. Can you be a little bit more specific about what you want me to clarify? All right. I think we have all of the dashes done. So let's actually make this do something. So if we're actually going to dash, we want to do a rigid body. So it's fine if the y is large and the x is 0. That's by design. That's why there's an or there. So it's possible for, this is effectively, the first thing is checking if either x or y is greater than a significant value. We don't care which one. And then we do the comparison to see if x is greater or y is greater. So the first one is just saying, do we have enough data to do something? The next one is saying, which one should we accept to do that thing on? And then based off of that thing, what should we do? So it's 3 steps. Does that make it a little clearer? Dot. This is going to be hard. Because we're going to hard set our velocity. So this is actually going to be a full reset on our whatever our object's velocity is. Why did it? Direction. Sure. So effectively this is going to kick the person in the other direction. It's actually going to apply a velocity in that direction. So there's at least a little bit of input or directionality after the dash. But we also want to move them, like physically move them by just doing, actually, we want to do a rigid body dot move position of this transform position plus the direction times the dash distance. We're going to need to define that dash distance up here. But effectively, we're giving them a distance to dash. So it will literally be a teleport followed by a minor amount of something. This is wrong. We need a vector 2. There. Got it. So that, hopefully, is enough to... Okay, what? Oh, it's still compiling. Got it. Cool. So the error is gone. We should now be able to... dash. Yeah. So it looks a little bit janky right now, but what it means is that I can do something like that, which looks, I guess, not particularly interesting. But I can also, let's see here. I have to think about this a bit. So I should be able to, Oops. Yeah, so you can kind of change that a little bit and hopefully extend it. This is going to take some getting used to for me, so I'm actually going to have to figure out exactly how to use this. because it's yeah, just the combo itself is actually not that easy to use, which is kind of good, but we'll see. We're going to alter the dash a little bit to actually add some additional velocity. Dash velocity, and we'll set this equal to like 10. I think that makes sense. So effectively we're just giving some additional amount of velocity after our dash. So we're taking the direction and adding on the dash velocity. And then moving him, yeah. Since that's a one-time event, there's no time. Okay, I think everything's good. We'll see if this works. Yeah, I like that more. So we can literally just change our jump arc, which should make it very easy to dodge projectiles, but you only get one until you hit something, which makes everything a little bit harder. The only other thing I want to do is make this circle cast we're doing work. So this circlecast.all, that doesn't actually, it's not actually working. We need a filter. So I'm going to add a mask on here. That is going to be our grounded mask, public layer mask, grounded mask. That's a good name for it. Oops. We'll open up a completely different program because that's a thing we do. And then finish compiling. We should get a layer mask, which we haven't gotten yet. Huh. Oh, well, maybe we should actually name things the same. There we go. Awesome. Problem solved. Now we should get it. Or not. There it is. Awesome. Grounded mask. So this is actually only going to test against the level. And we won't talk about the player yet because there's only one. So that circle cast now should only hit the level. So we should only be grounded against the level, which means we shouldn't get an extra jump out of that bomb just kind of sitting there. Oops. Oh, that's cool. So you can actually use the dash as a double jump if you need to, which effectively means you get a double jump for free, or you could use a bomb. So, oops. Yeah, something like that. One of the combos that I was thinking of was sort of a what would it be? I don't know, but effectively it's something like that, where you can effectively drop two bombs in quick succession with a dash in between, and then followed by an explosion. So you can actually I totally screwed it up there, but you can actually dash in the direction you want to shoot and then explode it, and you will be out of the way, but the bullet will still get caught. because it's less than the distance of a bomb. So it will catch it and push it, and then you actually get like a shot in that specific direction instead of something a little bit more random. And it can actually be done if you're better than I am, relatively fast. Yeah, something like that. Kind of requires some finger gymnastics, but you can figure it out. I don't know if anybody's ever going to use that. I don't know how many people are actually going to play this, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of fighting games. I'm terrible at them, but I really like them. So making this kind of stuff is a lot of fun. So I don't know. Oops. Cool. So that works. It does the thing, and that's what I was hoping to get done. We can do some really quick. There's two things that I'm kind of want to get done. The first is this. So we're actually going to add a trail render on here. Materials. Where's the sprite? Cool. So we're actually going to add a material to or a trail render, so the bombs will leave a trail, and we're going to do the same for the player. So the player and the bombs both leave trails behind them. Let's actually make this have a nice little arc like that. And it won't be a very long arc, sort of by design, just so the actual projectiles have a noticeable trail, so it's a little easier to tell where they're headed and that they're actually moving. I think that should have worked. That was longer than... Oh, that's because I changed the width and not the actual time. Whoops. Ignore that. That was totally intentional, and I actually intended it to be 5 seconds. But we're gonna take that down because it turns out that's too long. Oops. Let's see here. How's that look? Much better. Oops. Yeah. Okay. So now our bombs have a little indicator behind them so that you can actually see where they're going and where they're headed a little bit better. Now let's add that to the player. I'm gonna add in effects. Yeah, we'll see if that actually is worth it in the long run, but I think we're gonna want that. So this is just a something to hold the effects on our player, because eventually I'm picturing we're gonna want one for like the player death as well, and so this kind of gives us a place to put that. But we'll do something similar where we get just red, and now we should have a trail. And I don't think I need to change the actual width here. We'll find out soon enough, but hopefully that's enough where we can actually kind of... The idea here is, I mean, obviously we have super simple art, but I don't want it to be like that simple. Like, this is good. It's a little bit hacky, and I think we could improve that with time, but for what it is, it works. It shows you where the person's going, right? And that's really all you need to know. I don't know. I may have to sleep on that one and figure out what I think about it. That's usually how my art decisions go. It's oh, this sounds like a great idea, and then you actually implement it and you're like, oh no, this was why, who would do this? Why would you do that? Oops, I missed. I don't know. Is there anything else anybody wants to see implemented right now? This is pretty much what I wanted to get done, where we can kind of, I don't know, shoot, I killed myself. But we'll do the entire level. Well, we'll do everything that's remaining tomorrow, but there actually really isn't that much. We just need a dynamic level that gets created, and then player 2, as well as death and a few of the other basic things. I don't think any of those are going to take super long. So the level design might take a bit, because just random is always, it always feels like it's cheating a little bit, and not in a good way, where you're kind of like just passing on the whole design aspect, and I don't always like that, and especially in games like this, I'm not sure it works well. Bombs throwing. How would you throw the bombs besides that, where you can actually like do that? Is there something else you're thinking where you can like there's like maybe a fourth skill or some special thing, like a fireball or something, where you're just like huzzah, Hadouken? That'd be fun. I don't know how. I'm not sure we could do that in like adding combos or something, like actual like input combos besides mechanical combos like this. That might be hard. But I don't know. We can do a whole bunch of things. I don't know. Bombs throwing. I'm trying to think of how we could make that something like that work. Change movement to aiming bombs. I think if we did that, so the thing is there, it's still a force based movement. It actually became fairly physically based. So you can like, I can actually like rotate the joystick and we'll still get a fairly vertical arc in the jump. So like actually inputting movement controls and things while you're actually mid jump or something isn't that hard. So if we wanted to, it would be possible to make it so like it just throws it in the current direction you're holding, which we could do that. Trying to think how, if I don't know. I don't think it's a question of if we could do it. Like doing it like that, I think we could. I just don't know. Does it defeat the point of doing something like comboing the explosions? Because I feel like those are two competing things, and I'm not sure how or even if we could balance something like that. If I mean, it's a game jam game. We're not going to get a balanced anything out of this. But I'm curious how we would get those two mechanics to play nicely together, because I know nothing about game design. It's just things that I make up from games I like. So We may, if we have some extra time, we can play around with that. I think that's probably the best way to do that. So if we have some extra time tomorrow, like tomorrow night ish, we can implement that and actually start throwing things together. It's all this code is out on GitHub. The only thing that isn't is rewired. So if you actually want to like download this and use it, everything you see here is there except this rewired package. You need that in order to do that, or you'd have to swap in Unity's own input stuff, which you can totally do. It's not that complicated. You just need to swap out this input controller. If you do that, then it will work, and you can do whatever you want with that. I don't really care. It's like, I think I MIT licensed it, so do what you want. But I'll leave this here for now. Tomorrow we'll finish everything up and hopefully take these mechanics to new heights, or just blow things up. That's fun. We can blow things up. But that's pretty much it. I didn't really have much else to do. I just really kind of wanted to get those in. Oh well, I died. And then actually kind of play around with them a little bit, because those like combo mechanics and things are something that are going to require a few tweaks, and that's really hard to do on such a short time frame. So I don't know, I'm kind of happy with how this whole thing turned out. We can do a whole bunch of random, I don't know, goofy stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now because I tend to ramble at the end of videos. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow when we hopefully get this actually done. I think that should be possible. We'll see. So I will see you guys then.